So first,
Absolutely.
and I was
let's dig it all up.
Oh, no.
True.
You'll never guess.
So sidebar.
Yes. And also, I feel like I shouldn't have to remember everything.
I know.
Actually, I have to talk about this.
3, 2, 1.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
I'm Alicia.
And I'm Meredith.
And this is Also Podcast, a very special episode because we are covering all things Love is Blind, Season 7, possibly the worst season of TV I've ever seen.
It's
Definitely
wild.
The worst of Love is Blind.
They get worse and worse.
Yeah, this was terrible.
I saw a comment that
also,
was like, how did we have Lauren and what's his name?
Cameron
from season 1, and then look what's on our screens now.
Yeah, no, for sure. Even though season 2 of this stupid show was Chicago, and not one goddamn couple is still standing.
I don't think they were season 2,
crappy.
were they?
What?
They weren't Chicago wasn't season 2, was it?
Yeah, Chicago was season 2.
Really?
Yeah,
okay, at least they had weddings, and they had couples that I believed in, though. It's okay if they don't get married, but I need to believe in these people.
Listen, I think we were set up to fail because the magic of Lauren and Cameron will never again be available. When I watched them,
Correct.
I felt like I was watching the most beautiful love bloom in front of me. I knew.
Okay, and then from there, every couple, Barnett and whatever her name is.
It didn't, but I didn't feel the same way.
No, I agree, but I can understand how their couple works. I believe in them as a couple.
I think we're craving Lauren and Cameron, and we'll never get that again. But not even that. We don't even get fucking off-brands of them anymore. This is terrible. This was terrible. Let's just talk. Can we just dive it? It was so bad. Let's just dive in.
Let's get after it. Let's go back to the pods.
I want it on record. I would not have finished this show if it wasn't for you saying let's cover it.
I started watching it after some of the episodes had started coming out. So I finished it this weekend and then watched the finale. So it wasn't a long sprint for me, but I agree. I think I would have delayed watching the last episode had we not had this scheduled.
I watched it last night I think I finished at midnight because when I tell you, I turned it off to have silence rather than watch this while I made dinner. That.
I paused it 3 times to do other things.
Yeah, it was bad. Also, I know I scanned over this, but do all the things. There's a Patreon and an Instagram and a TikTok, and those are in our bio.
And
I get
welcome
really distracted.
back. I know we were on a 2-week hiatus. We just needed a breather, but it's fun to be back talking about everything.
We're back on a real low note, but you know what that means is that we are going to have loads to talk about.
Wait, really quick, should we still do our small celebrations? Just a little quick buzzword type action?
God. Sure. Can you go first? Because
absolutely.
I need to think. I need to think of one.
My small celebration is I deep cleaned and reorganized my apartment this weekend, partially because my friend's coming in town. So I had a reason that I needed to do it, but reorganized and moved around my entire bedroom, everything. I feel like a brand new woman.
Oh my God. A whole new room.
I mean,
I love that. Okay, I think my small celebration is I went to my first ever championship game in person. It was the finals for the New York Liberty. My friends and I bought tickets to game 5. For those of you who don't know women's basketball, it's the finals is best of 5 games. So we didn't even know if there would be a game 5. We bought tickets. And then on Friday, we were all watching it together, and they lost, and there was a game 5 set up, and we were like, oh my God. And it was when I tell you electric. I want to go to every team's championship at this point.
I can't imagine. It looked so fun on the internet.
It was crazy. And they were down the first half of the game by a lot. So we were really, it was a struggle to cheer because it was also home court.
Yeah.
But they ended up winning in overtime, which made it crazier.
Whoa, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they tied it up last minute. Like within the minute, they tied it up. And then it was like time for overtime.
That's iconic.
And they won in overtime, and it was the first New York Liberties championship ever won. And I love, if you go to the Barclays Center for any kind of game, they always do Celebrity Row, and I love the celebrities that show up. So Audrey Plaza was there. Fat Joe, who's the really famous director that Spike Lee, he was there.
Yes.
Wanda Sykes. Oh yeah. Angel Reese. It was popping down there. I was in the nosebleeds, but it was popping in Celebrity Row, and I kept saying, I want to be in Celebrity Row.
One day we'll get there.
So cool. They could sweat on you, but it was
That's Alicia's dreams.
So much fun. So much fun. But this brings up a question that we don't have to go into, but why do celebrities not wear the team's merch that they're there for? Like,
they're too cool
when
for
the
it.
Knicks, but like when the Knicks invite a celebrity, you should put on like a Knicks hat or something. The only person really because was like,
I mean, a good comparison is like a fashion show. You wear the designer's like clothing to a fashion show. Why wouldn't you wear at least one of the teams playing to any type of game?
I get it if like it comes up, like it's a problem if, let's say, like I'm invited to the, I don't know, the New York Liberty game, but they're playing the Chicago Sky. Then I would probably not rep either team or rep both. Because like the New York Liberty invited me.
Rude.
The New York Liberty invited me, and so then like I'll do that. But if you're clearly rooting for one team, just
show up and show out.
Audrey Plaza was the only one in a Liberty's hat. Everyone else was
especially with like WNBA hasn't been around like long enough to have so much of like vintage gear, but like vintage stuff is really cool now. So like baseball, like it's so easy to find like the cool stuff, and you can still like style it the way you probably would your normal outfit.
Exactly. So that's just a thought. But anyway, great. Love is not blind. Let's debate.
Let's talk about how we have known this for 6 prior seasons and learned it for a 7th.
Is it blind or not? This is the thesis that we must prove. Great. Should we just start from the beginning, the pods?
Let's start with our favorite hosts.
Vanessa and obviously Nick Lachey.
I don't understand how they are still the hosts of this show, Alicia. Like, I get that they film usually 2 seasons at a time, so like I think Minnesota filmed at the same time this one did, so like obviously they'll be the hosts of that season. But when we have been begging for them to not be the hosts, why don't we move on? Like, why isn't Lauren and Cameron the hosts?
They're so stupid. Never forget when my sister asked me who Nick Lachey was, and I was like, no, but really. I told her to just Google Chicken of the Sea and then let me know later.
Oh my God. Honestly, one of my favorite things.
Been in a boy band.
Yes, but like, Alicia, I didn't know that until the One Tree Hill episode.
You didn't know he was in 98 Degrees?
No, because I never listened to it.
As Brooke Davis' boyfriend?
Yes.
No, he was in a boy band. I only honestly knew him through Jessica Simpson.
I didn't watch that whenever they were on, what was that called? Like the Newlyweds or something?
Yeah, did you know they were dating though?
I knew that they had like gotten married and had a show. I just had never watched it. And I know the scene with the Chicken of the Sea. I'd never.
Yeah, but no one was going, did you know Nick Lachey married someone named Jessica Simpson? It was like Jessica Simpson married some unknown man named Nick Lachey.
I like had heard his name, but I just.
But you knew Jessica.
There.
Don't stick up. Yes. You knew who Jessica
No,
Simpson
I'm just saying, like,
more
I knew
than
his
Nick
name
Lachey.
Because everybody like flipped through magazines back then. It was just different. Like, you always knew people's names, but you didn't know who they were. Like I said, I didn't know he was even in a boy band until One Tree Hill.
Yeah, because he's terrible.
He's just there.
Yeah, and then Vanessa Lachey, I think, was just like a MTV Spring Break announcer or something.
I don't know, but how are they so bad at this? At this point, like, I feel like
I ignore them.
I feel like you would take it a little bit more seriously and like try. It just feels like they're not trying as hosts.
Also, terrible hosts of a reunion. That's where I really, even though we haven't gotten this reunion yet, that's the beef I have with them.
I don't want to watch it, but I will for this podcast.
But if they anyone else could host it.
Yes, because that happens so frequently where there's like a host of the show and then a separate host for a reunion. Like think about the challenge. Like TJ Lavin doesn't like host the reunion.
Well, not only that, they're so terrible. Someone could be like, yeah, I just fell out of love with her. And Vanessa would be like, you know, I have been in a marriage for a very long time. And Nick would be like, you have? With who? Like, they're so cringe. They're chuggy. That's the word.
Or she'll say like, I'm so sad because like, who's going to give me babies?
They're so chuggy. They're so weird. They're like the elder millennials that you want to throw off the island. Like,
don't even like diss elder millennials like that. Like, don't even do that to. You can't compare them to anybody because it is truly just a diss to other people.
They're terrible people. As a millennial, I want them gone. I hate them. I didn't care about them until they started hosting the show, and now I hate them.
Agreed. It makes this experience worse.
And they don't help. They don't like do anything to help these people. No,
because one of the things they talk about whenever they first go to the pods and the guys and girls are separate is the girls were talking about situationships, and they were like, what are situationships? As if that term was coined on this show.
Oh my God. You host so dumb.
Multiple dating shows and you don't know what like
relationships.
That, but like, and you don't know any language around dating. Like, do your goddamn research on the dating scene.
We just got married so long ago. I don't even know what a situationship either is. Really, you host that show like The Ultimatum, which is basically putting someone in a situationship to see if they want to get married to their person. And then
while already being in a relationship. So true.
Obviously, Nick Lachey hosts that other one. What is it? Perfect Match, which is basically a bunch of situationships each night. Yeah, he shows up and he's like, hey, everyone, you having a party or what? And everyone
I've never watched it.
Yeah, I want to die. Anyway, let's talk about people who are less terrible but still terrible. The cast.
Okay.
I have beef. I have beef with whoever does casting because they cast the women. And the whole point of this show is Love is Blind. So ideally, you're not casting the people that you would on like Perfect Match or The Bachelor, because like those people obviously look like something most people can't attain. I feel like Love is Blind should be like for the everyday person who spends 90% of their day sitting at a desk and doesn't have time to like do Pilates and yoga and run every single day and like loves to eat a cheeseburger, you know, but like also doesn't do their makeup to the tens, like just is a normal human person. Being.
Yep.
And then so they cast the women who are goddamn gorgeous, but then their quote ugly contestants are like just a little curvy. Just a little old and a little curvy, right?
I'm fine with like every person also being like average pretty. They don't need to be the like made up, because like the girls are not all just like these influencer makeup galore people. But you're right, like the people they deem to be like, oh my God, are they gonna be okay if their partner like meets them whenever they do the reveal? It's always the curvy women. You're so right.
They have a pouch. Is that going to be okay? And then it's like the men are, no offense, way below their league. Like visually, I was like, they do these girls so dirty.
But not even that, because again, it's Love is Blind. So like, I can't always be mad at like the looks of people. It is truly who the people are. The men are so below at like where they should be compared to like the accomplishments of these women even.
And you can tell when they like interview the women and they're like, why do you think you haven't found love? And it's this beautiful 33-year-old. And she's like, I don't know. I feel like dating's very superficial and people just look at me and like assume something about me. And like, they don't like my curves or they don't like the skin on my like the skin color I have, or they don't like my hair. And then the men are like,
they think I'm so outgoing and funny, and they don't like get to know me deep inside. Like, there are a vast amount of reasons of like why these women are like drawn to this type of experience. But I personally would be.
But then they interview the men and they're like, why are you single? And he's like, it's because I'm fucking rich and there's a bunch of gold diggers out there. Or like, oh, I'm just like, all these girls out here, they just like, they're the worst. And I'm like, no, right off the bat, the intelligence level is very different on both sides.
It's like the setup is that the women are not being seen for who they are, and the men are the victims of just the dating scene.
Yeah. I just date so many women and none of them work out.
It's just like not working out. I'm not really like finding my person. What are you actively doing to like draw somebody in? How are you a better person than you were yesterday?
And may I just promote, I read all of their bios and then I posted them on TikTok. And
I love that you did that.
There were many men who were like, my last girlfriend just didn't have her shit together. And the girls are sitting here like, I got cheated on. One girl had a guy who came out as gay. Like, okay. And then the guy's like, I just need someone to keep up with my active lifestyle, and I can't find that. You can't find that? That's your what? Ugh. Anyway. May I ask, did you fall in love with any of these men off the bat? Because sometimes I'll sit there and be like, this guy's such a cutie, I hope he gets picked. Like before we went in the real world.
If I'm being honest, I really enjoyed when I first saw Leo, the first statement he said about his like, oh, I don't really like want to be taken advantage of for my money, and like my parents died, and I was like, oh my God, that's so sad. And then obviously that went downhill very quickly. And then Steven, I really liked his kind of storyline in the pods about his like family. Those were the two that stuck out to me. Leo's went down during the pods, but Leo really did strike me because of his two parents dying.
Yeah, it was crazy. But never forget when he was like, my mom died, my grandma died, my dad died, my brother died, my sister. And I was like, did you listen?
That made me so sad. Like, you have to really want a partner then, because like you have no one. Like that is a need for, family in such a different way. So I was like, wow, I wonder how that's going to be navigated.
Oh my God, my dumbass is reading a thriller and I was like, did you kill them? Like, I know he didn't, but I was reading a thriller about someone who murdered their whole family and I was like, oh, it's Leo.
I also was really hopeful that Leo would literally not speak about his money at all, because I would think that would be so cool. Not to like hide it out of like malicious intent. Like, I think it would be great to reveal it like in Mexico or whatever, but if he just went in as like and cosplayed as a normal person and just who he is without the money, without his like flashy job, I think he would have had success.
Yeah, and honestly, if you tell me you're an art dealer, I'm not going to assume you're rich off that.
Agreed.
I'm just going to be like, either it went really well for you or really bad. So I'm going to
assume you have some money, or like you live a little bit of a flashier lifestyle just because you are in that like sphere of the world.
Yeah, but you don't have to tell me about the insurance money of your parents.
You don't need to wear a Rolex during a Love is Blind experience.
No. I don't understand when on both sides, they're like in really fancy outfits. I would be in sweats the whole time. Why am I doing my hair?
I get wanting to like look good because you're on camera. I understand that, but like the details aren't needed. Your partner doesn't see you.
Why are they wearing heels?
That
unnecessary.
I would wear like a cute little set or something, or like jeans and a top, but I would absolutely be in like Uggs or slippers every day. I'm not wearing fucking heels to go sit on a couch in a room alone where we're talking through a speaker.
Yeah, when they're in like a bodycon dress and heels, and I'm like, you're not actually gonna meet. You get a heads up, and then you can change into your gown that you get. But like,
yes,
you think I'm gonna wear more than jeans to go talk to you? You can't see me.
I want to be in comfy clothes when I am actually in person with people I meet. My favorite thing about college was people got to meet me for who I was, which was sweats and a t-shirt every goddamn day.
Show up. Yeah. Anyway, I fell in love with Garrett right away. I love a nerd. talk nerdy to me, I'm in immediately. That's what I'm going for. And I also really liked Bodhi, who we saw a little bit. He
Yeah, I
seemed
forgot
like
about
just a
him.
nice little nerdy guy.
I wish we got more of him. I think I was like fine with him, but
Yeah.
you could kind of tell like the storyline wasn't all there, or like we didn't get enough of him
Yeah.
in the pods for me to be like, oh my God, that was it.
Dude, there were a ton of guys out here that seemed like winners. After reading their bios, I was like, who the hell is this guy?
I have a question for you.
But,
Would you?
yeah.
I know this has come to Chicago and we like applied and like obviously
It
didn't
was the
get picked.
worst application.
I didn't put any effort into it. But
It was 80 pages.
Would you, like, if somebody came to you and just you could go on it or not based on this decision, would you decide to go on this type of show and like meet somebody like this?
Well, I would do almost anything for the plot. But that being said, I would have, when we applied in season 2, I was like, this could really work. It's worked before. Like, this is just a good experience. I think at this point, I would do it for the plot, but I would go in with absolutely the lowest bar.
Actually,
like caliber.
Let me rephrase it then. If there was a dating app, like if the marriage piece wasn't there, but like you could go and they set up like pods, kind of like speed dating, and for a full weekend you got this type of experience, and that was a dating experience offered in big cities, would you like try to find somebody that way?
Yeah, why not? For the plot. Yeah, let's see what happens.
I think I would too. Like, I actually think they should make this like a every weekend, like let's say like 16 guys and 16 girls go into these like into pods in all like major cities. I think that would be so cool. I'm so over the dating apps.
I would do it because I think it's so hard for me to judge someone on their looks. Because like if you look at my friends are always like, you never date a type, because it's not about that for me. It's very much about like mind and like humor and just like how we vibe. And so I've dated men that my friends have looked at and been like, what the fuck? And I'm like, no, but I like hanging out with him. I like enjoy my time with him.
And I feel like dating apps are the opposite. Where like you get all the physical up front and it's really hard to tell people's personalities on them.
And I like here that I like Love is Blind in the sense that they don't even talk about like ethnicity.
I like love when couples try to avoid it. Yeah.
Yeah, when Taylor was like, I can't tell you my mom's name because it'll give away my ethnicity. I was like, that's amazing.
I loved that. And I like don't diss Garrett for being like taken aback in a sense, because it just feels like somebody is withholding information. So I get kind of being confused on his side. But I love that when people stick so strictly to not wanting to talk about it. And I find it so gross when it's mainly the guys ask about what like hair color is and like lightly try to talk about people's looks to prepare themselves.
It wasn't on this season, but someone once was like, could I lift you? And I was like, excuse?
Ugh.
Say something else. Yeah, I would leave the room.
What's crazy is boys don't realize too that like most girls in their mind are like, that's kind of a terrifying thing. Like, could a guy lift me type of thing that like, maybe I'm speaking for everybody. Maybe I'm wrong. But I would think most girls' initial reaction in their head would always be no.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be lifted. Let's start there.
And so also, why is that the bar on like, why is that a question you need to know?
It's just crazy. Anyway, should we talk? So nothing too crazy happens in the pods. I found these pods pretty boring, honestly. I immediately, though, fell in love with Taylor and Garrett because they're both fucking nerds, and I loved
the fact that they both have tattoos with like science things. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. I was like, here's my fairy tale. Like, I'm loving this. This is what I want my pod experience to be. Mine, not for science. I immediately shipped them.
We had then like a bunch of triangles. Like Marissa was dating both Bodhi and Ramses.
Yeah.
I initially was like, she should pick. I liked Bodhi better, but I was like, for Marissa, I think she'd get better along with Ramses.
I know, I kind of got a little bit more, compared to Ramses, friend vibes with Bodhi. It just, it didn't feel as, like the banter between Ramses and Marissa was electric to me. I felt like they got on so much better.
And they both just seemed so ultra liberal that it like kind of worked in a way. I say seems, but who else did we have? Then we had the Nick D, Hannah, and Leo.
With
yeah,
Brittany
but then you
in
also
there.
had Leo, Brittany, and Hannah.
Yeah.
So it was like overlap. I in the end knew Leo was going to choose Brittany, which is why I was like, why is he having a hissy fit about Hannah?
Choose Brittany. I really think if Hannah chose Leo, Leo's first was Hannah.
Really?
And I'm a little sad we didn't get to, like, I would have loved to see. This is one of the downsides
Leo
of Love
and
is Blind
Hannah.
when there are love triangles. Yeah, I want to see what the other options would have been like.
I mean, but maybe I missed it. Why did Hannah originally pick? Wasn't it because Leo kept making comments to her, or why did she pick Nick?
It was Nick D was the one who was like kind of a little bit more
sexy.
flirtatious. Yeah. And so she dropped Nick D at first, and it was just Hannah and Leo for like a day, I believe. And then I think either Hannah felt bad or Nick like requested to see her. And so they like picked things back up.
Oh, I remember. I thought it was because she knew Brittany was also talking to Leo, and I thought it was because Hannah didn't want to get not chosen.
No, it was like an accident how Brittany like dropped it, and once they found out about it, they never talked about it.
Yeah,
Hannah,
but if you're like, fuck, like the only guy, I just dropped one great guy because I was going to focus on this other great guy, but now he's talking to another great girl. I don't want to close my options.
I see what you're saying.
Is how I thought it, and I don't think it's probably intentional, but I feel like that's how we all think, you know?
Yeah. I wonder what that timeline was because they like play with the pod timeline so much.
So weird. Yeah.
So I'm not sure, but I think Leo actually did want somebody more down to earth and like normal, and like Brittany was so into being a trophy wife, which like, hey,
dude,
do you with your own life?
Like,
but it was
over. Like overly,
it didn't feel like something Leo wanted.
I love to work out and be hot, and I was like, you can just shut the fuck up. Why are you here?
Well, she was like, my last boyfriend supported me. That is what I expect in a relationship. And to me, if I were Leo who said, I don't want people to use me for my money, that would have been an immediate drop for me. But I think they must have talked a little bit about looks or something, because I think he just had to know that she was like
same
the standard like trophy wife. Yeah.
I agree. And then when Hannah tried to like break up with Leo, he had a hissy fit.
Oh my God.
Full of gaslighting her.
Alicia, when he was like, I need you to tell Brittany that this was mutual.
Well, that was even after the initial conversation. I was like, am I crazy? This man was like, Hannah, how could you do this to me? Also, I was like, Hannah, do not cry with this man. Just get up and walk away. You could leave. They never know.
Stood in there for a while, and I was shocked because Hannah was like ready to go in and just be like, hey, it's Nick for me. Thanks so much. Bye. But it was just such a weird conversation where Leo was like, if I proposed right now, or if I'd gotten there first, what would you say? And I just find that to be such a weird thing. If you have somebody else on the side that you're going to propose to, if he was willing to drop Brittany no matter what, because all he wanted to do was have Hannah, then give that speech. But you cannot go propose to somebody after that.
Yeah, that was also it. Is like the way he went about it. Like Hannah very much was just like, look, I'm going to pick Nick D. Or whatever. And Leo, instead of being like, Hannah, I think this is a mistake. You are my number one. Just give me one more shot. He was like, Hannah, don't you fucking dare, you bitch. And I was like, why is he like yelling at her?
Because he expected the one to be making the decision. Because that's how his life probably typically is.
The worst. And then afterward, Hannah's like, I don't appreciate how you spoke to me. And he's like, no, I get it. Also, could you just tell Brittany that like I love her so much? I was like,
I'm sorry. It would not, if I were Brittany or any of the girls in there, you delivering a message to me after, like, through your breakup is not something I want.
Also, if I was Hannah, I'd be like, no. And I honestly I appreciated Hannah being like, I'm not going to say anything, but then she does proceed to say something. I would have said to Leo and been like, I'm going to tell her the full conversation because it wasn't mutual. And she deserves to know.
But
because I'm a petty bitch, though. I'm a petty bitch.
Brittany was willing to look past any of that for the potential bag she was about to get if it did work out.
Too bad when she met him, she got the ick immediately. She looked at him and went, barf.
Wait. Alicia, those reveals sometimes when they're like, it's obvious
so awkward.
One party is uncomfortable and the other party doesn't notice is so insane to me because it's like, this is the first time we're truly meeting. I don't care if I've been talking through a wall with you. Do not be all over me.
No, I have to be so honest. If I got proposed to, I might have to say no just because I don't want to do a reveal like this. You, on opposite sides, they put you in a room for God knows how long for you to just be nervous. And then a door opens and then you have to meet in the middle of this long hallway.
And what do you do?
Heels, so I can't run.
Do you kiss? Do you hug first? I would legit talk about it with my partner. I would be like, we are hugging first. We will peck. No major kiss. I'm willing to peck for this love story. I like
something you should
we're
know
on a
about
TV
me.
show.
You're just in the pod. You're like, something you should know about me is I overthink and have anxiety. So let's go through exactly what's going to happen when I meet you. Also, you need to sprint to me so we don't have to do this long, awkward, like, oh my God, walk.
And we're not going to sit at the bench in the hallway portion. You are going to come to my room, whatever it's called. Yeah. Because those couches look a little bit more comfortable and like relaxing. Agreed. Not that weird ass bench.
Agreed. This is what's going to happen. You're going to run to me. So we're going to meet mostly on my side because because
that's how this relationship will work.
Walking. It was way too long to meet in the middle. We're going to hug. I'm going to then take your face in my hands and be like, oh my God, because I haven't seen you. I'm not going to kiss you if I haven't seen you.
Peck. I'm open to a peck.
And then we can peck. That's fine. But first I'm going to look at you because I want a good look. And then I'll peck you. And then you're going to get down on one knee. You're going to propose.
Yes,
I'm going to go, oh my God, yes.
I'm going to go, which hand out of joke?
And then you're going to get up and we're going to walk to my side. So then when this is over, you have to walk back. Because it's not going to be me.
I'm not joking. I would have to talk about that because I would be so overwhelmed. Yeah, that is the plan. And if I give you a squeeze while we hug, you can twirl me around. That means I'm really happy.
Literally right after you propose to me in the pods and I say yes, I'm going, let's talk about it really, really quick. Here's what's going to happen.
We have to have a plan because I'm not, even if I don't like you, I'm not going to have a moment where we look so weird on national television. I will protect both of us for that sake.
The door's opening and everyone going, oh my God.
And don't pet me while we're sitting there. I want to sit. I want to look at each other. We can like hold hands or something. Do not pet or like try to put your head on me. The way Leo was acting with her, I actually felt bad for Brittany. Like so bad because I was like, why is he being so weird?
Stop touching me. Stop getting close, like putting your face near my face.
We're not cuddling on this couch.
Yeah, you're like a pen pal to me. Like, I haven't actually met you yet.
I just met you literally 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, and I might think you're ugly, which is fine because love is blind and maybe I love you. But I just need to get you because I can't also imagine the like hearing a voice that you don't see a face to.
Agreed. Because I fell in love with you and your voice and your mind, but now it is in a body that I don't know. So like you gotta let me catch up.
As much as they're like, I don't know what you look like, I'm picturing something.
Same.
There's someone there.
My favorite thing, Alicia. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's like when you meet someone and then they speak and their voice does not match their face, and you're just like, what the fuck? That's what this is.
So weird whenever they're in this show is when they say, oh my God, I had a dream about you. I'm like, what the can you actually give me a visual? Face? Can you tell me what you saw? Because I want to know what you're visualizing. It's okay if it's wrong, but I'm just curious what you think this person sounds like.
They should, you know how sometimes they do activities in the pods where they like paint and then give it to each other? They should paint what they think the other person looks like and then give it to each other.
No, they should paint and let us see it. Maybe don't give it to the other person.
Can you imagine? They give me like a redhead and I'm just like, oh my God.
Is that what my voice sounds like to you?
Why?
I literally visualize all my clients over the phone.
Yeah.
Let alone like the person I'd be talking to day in and day out for hours on end.
Absolutely agree. This is crazy. So Leo and Brittany had a terrible interaction. I would like to go with who else was there? Oh, Nick D and Hannah had a terrible reaction because Hannah's dumb. She's like, he said he was a football player and he's not big and like muscular. And
I was so annoyed when she said that. I was so annoyed. Thank you.
He never lied about being the kicker.
I do agree with her that he does come off more suave and like a ladies' man than he is. Like that is kind of frustrating. But the football thing I didn't get. That man was a kicker. Those are skinny little boys.
My friends think I'm literally like a man killer, and I literally only do relationships. So like you never know just because I act like that way.
Well, but honestly, I would have more confidence not being physically in front of the person. So like I get how he is like a lot more forward about things when you don't have to look the person in their eyes when you're saying some of these things. But
you're not going to sit here and be like, he never said he was skinny. He said he was a football player. He clearly said he was the kicker. And if you've ever seen a kicker, they look like a small little soccer player.
Yes.
That's what you're going for. So theirs was terrible because Hannah immediately hated the way Nick D looked. And I knew that they would
never work. You can tell when they meet each other if they have a chance or not.
Yeah. And then it was Monica and Steven, I think, had an okay one. Because he said, I didn't know I was black. I thought I was Italian, but I'm black. Yeah. And then she was like, but they had like I thought theirs was fine.
I agree. I was like rooting for them early on.
Yeah.
Because she really loved that story. And in a sense, I guess that kind of could have given away some of his ethnicity, obviously. But that's like a story about who he is. So I'm okay when those details kind of get teased out. But she was so into that, like his story and him searching. And I think him finding out that he had, what was his family from Africa? That like,
something
tiny
like
portion,
that,
whatever. The story of like, and then because I think it was one of the tribes there that then he like researched about that. Like she loved how much he cared about then his own heritage and that his her being black, obviously, that's going to reflect well on like how he'll probably treat her. That I had a lot of hope for them. I was like, all right, here we go. Here's a couple I'm going to root for.
And then Garrett and Taylor had a great meeting. I was giddy. I felt that from the beginning.
Me too.
That didn't make me cringe. Because let me tell you, me picturing me doing this makes me cringe, but that one didn't make me cringe. I was like, we're okay.
They all have a tinge of awkwardness. This is an awkward experience. So like I have secondhand embarrassment in every single meeting. But I did get butterflies with them, yeah.
Yeah. Who else got together? I'm like looking through all these pictures.
Tyler and Ashley. Oh, let's go with them first.
Oh, Ramses and Marissa, they had I thought also a good meeting.
I think theirs was the
about
best.
To fuck.
They were vibing hard.
They were sexually vibing.
Yes. I just their energy together was everything to me. They always just felt very comfortable with each other and like very natural as if they met on the outside.
Yeah. And then we had Tim and Alex, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Theirs was fun. It wasn't what I would want, but it didn't kill me inside.
Here's a little problem with me watching this show. I did see a few spoilers about it, and by the time I got to the Mexico episode, somebody was like, I don't see the chemistry between these two people. And I was like, no, you're absolutely right.
I didn't either.
I see nothing. I don't understand how these two picked each other because them talking, I never got it in the pods. I never understood it any time like, throughout this entire show.
They were very forgettable. And it was almost like both of them just didn't vibe with anyone. And they're like, well, we'll do this.
I guess what shocked me is like, how did this couple get picked over like Brittany and Leo? I would have loved to see that disaster go up in flames.
I agree. I think the producers fucked up. Give me that disaster. And then there was Tyler and Ashley, right?
Yes. This is another spoiler. I'd already seen the Tyler spoilers.
I hadn't, but I thought they were again fine. I didn't truly believe and I didn't truly hate it. Like everyone else besides these last two couples, I was either like yes or I was like absolutely not. These two I was like yeah, sure. It almost felt like you were meeting someone off a dating app and you were like, "Hey, you know,
yeah.
What's up?"
Where you've like vetted them a little bit. We saw a lot more of their conversations related to like actual relationship things. Like they really talked about like lack of gender roles in the pods, I remember. And like I felt like he was a good guy and not, I mean, compared to like the Leo of the situation and like, not that Nick D is a terrible guy, but he was being like very forward. And so like Steven and Tyler just seemed like normal dudes and they visually looked pretty decent. You know, like I was like, all right, these are just like our normies. Like, okay, this is our base level people.
Yeah. So let's do couple by couple, shall we? Who should we start with? Let's just go. We're out of the pods. We're in Mexico. I am disappointed in Mexico, though, because I really like when there's like someone else you were seriously dating in Mexico and then you get to see them.
Again, why didn't we get Brittany and Leo? They were the perfect people.
Then, oh my God, we would have gotten Leo and Hannah meeting and that would have been fun. Oh, it would have been the best.
And we all knew Leo and Brittany were not going to work out. So like that's a train wreck I wanted to watch.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, well, they end up, if you didn't know, they end up going to Miami together and they break up like a week or so after. So.
Let's start with Hannah and Nick D.
Okay, great. I thought she hated him in Mexico.
Same. She was immediately like already on his case.
Yeah, and I understand like, was it icky to watch him ride that duck? Sure. But at the same time, it wasn't the worst thing. And I believe if you truly love someone, if they do like a stupid ick like this, like you're going to look past it.
Well, my thing is like, I had no issue with him, right? I mean, I don't want to watch my partner ride a duck. I would just like lay down in the sun then and like you go off and do your own little weird thing.
Baby. Yeah.
But she was mad the minute he said he wanted to do it.
She's like, you're going to, and don't do it. And he's like, I'm going to do it. I want to do it. And she's like, could you not? And then didn't she write a list of things she was like worried about him?
She wrote a list of like 7 or 8 things of like how immature he is. Yeah, like his like cons,
lack of emotional
basically.
Intelligence. Yeah.
And like left it around for him to find it. It's not like he like dug through the trash and found it. It was on her nightstand.
Yeah. And I think they were the only couple to not have sex in Mexico. Which
no, they did.
Like,
they did. She had talked whenever they did that party where everybody got together. She went separate with another girl and said like he doesn't want to talk about it on camera, but we have.
Oh.
But they I think on camera just kept saying that they hadn't. Which I understand, but like then don't go tell somebody.
Don't sign up for this show.
Well, don't tell somebody that you are having sex while being mic'd up and filmed.
Yeah. I just thought,
why not actually respect that boundary?
I figured this was doom. I figured she hated him. I thought he was oblivious to everything. And then
I thought he was just trying to roll with the punches. Like,
yeah, he's like, I'm on the show. I fell in love with you. Let's figure this out.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're disgusting. And then they go in the real world. They start living together. She is comfortable in her routine and she will not change it.
No.
Which is okay, but you're now immediately living with someone. Like, something needs to change.
And like you have like what, a few weeks to figure out if you're going to get married. Like this is definitely an accelerated timeline. This isn't something you can like slowly ease into something. Like you are thrown into the deep end.
Yeah, it was kind of like wild to watch how like strict she was. And I understand she had concerns, whereas like Nick comes from living with his parents because he was, which she very much like said this is a red flag, but it made sense when he was like, I was traveling for football all the time. I wasn't going to rent a spot. I totally
understand why he lived with his parents.
Bro. Yeah,
as someone who has lived with their parents in adult life.
Me too.
it made sense for me. Like, I was traveling so much, basically the schedule he probably was on, and like, I get it. Like, why waste money on an apartment? I think that's a
Why would
great
I pay for
financial
rent?
decision. My problem
Yeah.
is he has no skills, like,
He's no life
in a
skills. He
home.
can't even boil pasta water, which honestly was hilarious.
No, it's not, because this is the shit my dad does. Like, you want me to
Um,
hold your hand while I ask you to do something? I might as well do it myself.
no, the worst was he offered. And she's like, you could just boil. He's like, how can I help you? And she was boil some water. And he's like,
I wanted a
what's it
fun
called?
task.
Weaponized incompetence? That's what he
Yes.
did. Yeah,
Yes.
he just did it.
Sir, you asked what temperature to boil water at? At some point, it'll just boil. So, like, just put it on there. Like, the fact that you don't know that, like, technically there isn't a right temperature to boil water at is insane, but also you should always just put it on the highest.
And listen, I don't like to cook. I'm not very good at it. But I've made pasta for myself before.
Every child should have made a box of, like, Kraft mac and cheese in their lifetime.
I could do this. So I, again, immediately knew it was doomed. And then I loved when they would, like, meet with her side of parents and friends, and they'd all be like, you're fucking mean. And she'd be like, it's just me caring about him. And I'd be like,
no, it's
right.
It's wild because, like, she had reasons to be upset with him, but then she was upset with him about everything. Even things like that were a little too far.
I understand. Nick D would drive me up a goddamn wall. And I want that so clear. I'm not vilifying her and making him the victim. Absolutely not. He's a nightmare. That being said, I think the way she kind of berated him about shit was a little too, like, she'd be like, I love you, but you're the fucking worst.
Yes.
Like, the way she almost delivered it, it was like, you suck. I love you, but you're terrible. So it almost
she wanted to, like,
like,
shame him and knock him down
Yeah.
pegs. Like, rather than just being like, it's really frustrating that when I ask you to do something like boil pasta or, like, water for pasta, you're incompetent. Like, you need to figure these things out and I shouldn't have to teach you everything. Instead, she's like, you're a fucking moron. Like, get your life together. You know nothing. You're useless. And he's like, what?
It was how she said it was, like, very terrible.
The meeting up with the brother was, like, so telling too. Like, he was like, no, she's so mean. I was like, oh my God.
No, it's terrible. But then I thought, she also has a dog. So she's brought this dog now. As someone who doesn't have pets, you're expecting me to be a dog mom now? Like, you gotta give me grace with that one. So I was like, on that one.
Absolutely not. And then she was like, okay, what I did dislike about him too is he said he had a cat, and then he's like, actually, it's my dad's cat. My dad does everything. So, like, sir, you don't have a cat.
He does,
but he did offer to help with the dog. So I'm like, he's got to stop offering to do things if he doesn't want to do things
and then not do them. Yeah.
But she's expecting him to, like, wake up in the morning, like, the annoying shit you should do, lady. Like, he should, like, put the food out at 5 p.m. Like, you should wake up for the morning walk and, like, let out.
Yeah, I think that bothered me. But then my other thing that bothered me was when they went to that, like, Gatsby party, and her, quote, best friend in the whole wide world, Katie, end quote, because they met in the pods.
Holy
and now they're best friends.
She said it like best 7 times too.
World.
I get if it slipped out once. I totally understand because that's how girls are. But she said it like 7 times.
Yeah, and I guess Katie was also interested in Nick. And Nick was interested in Katie, but then she dropped him. So before they go this party, Hannah's like, hey, do you have anyone you want closure with? And Nick was like, I guess if anyone, Katie, because I get that. You drop me for no reason. I just got to know what you disliked about me.
And we're filming this and we all have to be at a party together. I'm going to go talk to you.
And the producers asked you to ask me this question. I say Katie. Then they go to the party and Katie walks in, goes straight to Hannah and is like, Nick D's hot or whatever she kept saying.
That was so, like, come on. And that's Katie's fault.
Yeah, but then Katie and Nick sit down and Katie honestly tells him, like, I thought you were too young or you're my type that I usually go for, and I was trying to stay away from that, whatever.
She respectfully told him all the things basically Hannah has a problem with, which is like, hey, you're a little immature. Like, it just wasn't for me. I'm too old to, like, be able to deal with this.
Yeah, and I thought Nick was like, cool, sounds good. And they, like, I think flirted-ish a little, but I thought Katie was flirting way more than Nick. Like, Nick was just kind of, like, giggling around because I think he's oblivious to everything.
Nick was doing his pod shit where he was just, like, he's like being a little forward.
But he did keep saying, he's like, I'm with Hannah and I love her, so I'm good, like, whatever. Yep. But Hannah doesn't hear any of this. Instead, she's watching from afar and she's pissed at both of them. Now her best friend in the whole wide world and her fiance are her enemies. So then when she goes home, she goes, Nick, what did you talk to Katie about? And Nick was like, I don't know, we just talked. And she's like, for 40 minutes? There had to be more in the conversation. What happened? And he's like, I don't know, we talked. And then she's like, Nick, Katie said that you were hot. And Nick's like, why are you mad at me?
I didn't say any of that. I told her how, like, much I love you.
And then when he made good point, she was like, I think we should just go to bed. Wink, wink. And I was like, oh, no.
She literally flipped a fucking switch. And I kind of get it. You get to that point when it's like, what'd she say? It was like 2 a.m. She's like, it's 2 a.m. Let's stop talking about this. But it was like when she was done yelling, you can't yell at me for like 45 minutes by your best friend saying I'm hot for me to just take it and then be like, nope, we're done with the conversation. I want to go to bed now.
And she's like, you said you wanted closure with Katie, and that's my best fucking friend. And Nick was like, you asked me if there was anyone, and I said, yeah, I guess it would be Katie.
I warned you of this exact thing, and also your quote-unquote best fucking friend is the problem here.
Literally, he was like, Jesus Christ, call her up.
Nick was so confused.
You're confused. I'm confused. Like, I was sitting there like, what? Because I think it's crazy because for me, because I'm not totally like this. To me, if you can take him, you can have him. Mm-hmm. Fucking who cares? Like, yeah, if you were talking, like at one point, if you were interested in my man and then I saw you guys talking, I'd be like, I wonder what they're talking about. But I'm not going to go home and be like, Meredith used to like you and now I'm mad at you. What the fuck is this bullshit? Say I'm feeling insecure and be done with it.
Well, and guys can do a lot wrong. So if like Nick had done something wrong in this situation, I'd be like, go after him for that situation. But in this situation, exactly how it went down, I would be looking at Katie being like, what the fuck are you doing talking to my man for 45 minutes and telling me he's hot 7 times?
Yes, yeah, stop telling me he's hot. But almost, I'd be like, you think he's hot, girly, but he came home with me, so fuck you.
Alicia, this made me think about our pact after Manifest being like, nobody, like, you don't get my man. Like, you do not get to, like, interact with my person like this.
If you don't see my body, I'm not dead. Yeah. Imagine you fall in love with, like, my man when I'm missing, and you're like, but I can't act on it because we don't have a body. And he's like, it's been 10 years. And you're like, no, but have you seen the show Manifest?
She's stuck in the clouds.
Anyway, then what does Hannah do? She ends up calling off the engagement before they go dress shopping, and so she did the whole thing where she was that.
Like, I think that's respectable to call it off before the shopping for the details.
No, like, thank God. But also, I understand it's acceptable, but I think Netflix should require them to show up at the wedding and for my messiness, say no at the altar.
I do miss when most of them had to go to the altar. Yeah.
I loved the runaway bride. I loved the crying room.
I'm fine if they tell each other, like, you know, when cameras go down at night, like, hey, it's a no for both of us. But let me live in the drama to be like, are you really going to marry this man?
Yeah. I loved when, like, the guy would say no and the girl would, like, sob and her mom would have started to fight him. And I was like, yes, this is what we were missing. And I understand we want to respect people's lives, but they're going to bed next to each other and the cameras aren't there. They could literally have a conversation.
Yes. And
you don't have to breach the NDA because let's not say anything and just deal with it.
Too many of them get out of their weddings in the later seasons and it's annoying to me.
I know. So, that's Nick and Hannah. They hug. They're both crushed. Not really. Hannah couldn't be happier. Okay, you pick the next couple.
I think we have to do Steven and Monica because to me, this is a couple that deserve not to go to the altar. There can be a few exceptions.
Is it bad? I'm still confused. So they go to Mexico, and that's when I was like, I don't know, dude. There's something weird about them together.
Alicia, I was crushed that this guy turned so fucking weird and creepy so quickly because we did not see any of this in the pods.
Yeah, he was like weird in Mexico, no? He kept being like, "You're so hot, I want to fuck you," or whatever, and I'd be like,
not even that. It's like, well, one of her issues was like he would just go on monologues, which I was like, man, I feel that because I do that.
You could never date Steven.
I don't let anybody else get a word in, so like I totally understand why she has a problem with it. But one incident, whenever they were all together, he had done or said something that upset her, and so he came to like apologize and talk to her. And when he was explaining it to one of the other girls, he went in this roundabout thing about how like, oh, he missed the fireworks, and like Monica was upset because Steven was talking to Garrett. Which I get missing the fireworks, and I don't like. I'm like, okay, this wasn't that big of a deal. But when he tries to explain it to Taylor, he talks about how, oh my God, yeah, all these ladies are going to be in our DMs and they're going to like want to suck our dicks. And like, it's just like, sir, what are you talking about?
Would you be mad if your man missed the fireworks?
A little upset, but not to like, I think Monica was like upset to the right degree, but then whenever he like tried to explain it, it just made things worse.
I didn't love how she kept like, then he would be like, hey, can I get you a drink? And she'd be like, I don't know, you already missed the fireworks. And I'd be like, can we discuss it behind closed doors? Because it's so awkward.
I agree with that.
I think though, I would have been like, Garrett, shut the fuck up. We're going to watch fireworks or whatever. Why Taylor wasn't mad. Garrett was also missing the fireworks.
If it was just my guy who missed it and everybody else was in a couple, I would be really upset. But Garrett and Steven like talking, and clearly they were in a deep conversation. Like it was just a very clear. I don't think we ever got the audio of it. It was very clear
Garrett was on one. Yeah.
You could tell that they were in such a deep conversation. Like Taylor wasn't upset. You got to watch the fireworks with Taylor. I understand you want it to be with Steven, and that should be the priority. So I understand talking to him about it. But you're right. Like the constant mention about it, no matter what he did the rest of the evening, was annoying.
Yeah, and then he just made it worse. And then she also did the flowers thing where she kept being like, you're going to buy me flowers, right? I would love some flowers. And I was like, girly pop, shut the fuck up about these flowers.
Alicia,
if he wanted to, he would, and he isn't. So
but I get so mad when people do this in the like after the pods that you are in Mexico. The things he promised you he would do, because we had somebody do this last season too. The things they promised you, it's kind of hard to do it when you are in another country on a vacation, like you're focused on being on vacation. I'm not going to go to some random location and get you flowers. And then 2, we are on such an expedited schedule. We are filming all day. We are working our normal lives. It's kind of hard to go above and beyond in that type of environment. So like, why are you holding my feet to the fire to do something for you if you're not ever doing anything for me either? This should be a mutual thing where we show up for each other, but it shouldn't have to be only in flowers.
Yeah, this was so fucking weird. But then he ends up being a real fucking weirdo.
Oh my God. Well, first off, he constantly would talk about like weird sex stuff. To me, weird, at least.
Was like butt
he
stuff.
Was very forward. Yeah. And like talking about this stuff on and she was like visibly weirded out.
Uncomfortable. Yeah.
And then I don't understand fully this incident either, where so I guess how she told it is he went to do a sleep study and then somehow she finds out about texts between him and another girl and him wanting to do some like very intense
fucked up shit to her feet, right?
Was it her feet? I don't know.
There was just whatever
very
stuff.
Interesting sexual acts. I don't know if they like go full detail into it, but I don't know who this woman was and how Monica found out about it.
I don't either, but probably for the best. And then immediately he's like, I'm done. And I'm like, yeah, dude, Not only
Like,
are
the
you
best
done with
is
this
in lie.
experiment.
He's like, no, I only did it last night. And she's like, no, I literally have all the texts. I guess the other girl probably sent him to her. I have everything. You were doing it this morning.
She sent a hey girly text. Hey girly. Just so you know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and when he was like, I'm done, and he wants to get off camera, I was like, dude, you're ruined already, though. Like, we hate you now.
Gross. That was the biggest 180 for me, and I was so frustrated because, like I said, I really loved Steven's storyline in the pods, and so I was so disappointed.
May we, though, talk about how adorable Garrett and Taylor were comforting Monica?
Why did that make me believe in their relationship even more?
Why did that make me believe in love? Also, the fact that there was no, like, Garrett was fully holding Monica at one point, like, stroking her hair, and Taylor wasn't jealous. I don't know why we're all jealous of Katie in the corner, Hannah, but, like, this was
and then
beautiful.
Them at that date, I know we're jumping ahead on them, but, like, them on that date, then afterwards, they were like, she deserves a Garrett, and he was like, you deserve a Garrett, and she was like, you deserve a Taylor. I was like, no, but why? Why is this making me believe in love?
Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I loved it.
I find it so weird when people are like, I could never, like, be close with my girlfriends, boyfriends. Like, that's weird to me. I'm like, no. There's a right type of relationship to have with my friends' boyfriends. But, like, if I got shit on so bad by a guy I was dating, I would expect my best friend's boyfriends to go to bat for me like no other.
Threaten to kill him. Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I want them to be like, you're heartbroken. We're going to fix this. We're going to go out tonight. Yeah. We're all here for you. Like, it shouldn't just be my girlfriend supporting me because, like, to me, I have a big friend group. So, like, anybody else's significant others that come in is like, you're now one of my best friends. Like, it should build to that, in my opinion.
Yeah, you should be one of my best friends, and there should never be anything happening between me and my best friend's men that I wouldn't tell my best friend about. Like, we can text separately, but I could easily be like, yo, your husband is so dumb. Look what he texted me. You know, like,
yes.
And there's no weirdness to it.
No.
If I don't
But if I'm sitting there crying on the floor, like, I wouldn't be weirded out if, like, your boyfriend came over and was like, what do you need? Like, I'm ordering DoorDash. Like, we got this.
He should.
Like,
that's also as a girlfriend. That's what I want out of my man.
That's a
show up for my friends, bro.
Yes.
Yeah. Hell yeah, Garrett.
Oh my God, it made me so. I was like, I'm so sorry, Monica, you're going through this, but I love them.
I'm obsessed. All right, who should we talk about next? We're gonna save Garrett and Monica for later. Or Garrett and Taylor, sorry.
Yes. Let's see. We've got Tim and Alex. Did we already talk about them? I can't remember because they were so not memorable.
Yeah, they still weren't. They got into that fight in Mexico where he slept somewhere else and then he didn't want to talk to her.
I didn't understand that either. They got in a fight.
They didn't tell us about the fights. There was some fight that happened and I think she tried to cover his mouth up and he took that offense. I don't know.
I would take offense to that.
They didn't go into the fights enough.
No, I actually saw online somebody said we don't have enough of those one-on-one, I'm with my cell phone recording my diary session about whatever just happened off camera. You need to explain context. I'm fine not having 24/7 surveillance, let these people have their lives so they can actually grow a connection. Yeah. But you've got to give me the details. Monica, I'm so sorry that this guy cheated on you, but one of you has to give me the story
I can't
to a cell phone.
Be fully mad for Monica because I don't know.
Yeah. And
exactly what happened. I get Alex, the gist.
What was this fight in Mexico? I don't understand it. Because you guys are talking about it after the fact, but you know what happened. Yeah. I need the context. So, yeah, I think the only weird part was Tim was ready to fucking leave. And Alex was like, please don't. Let's just do our go-karting or whatever they did. Their doom buggy. And then they were fine. And then they went in the real world. And I think this was the guy, right, that asked her dad for permission with a really sweet note. Yeah, but she, made him.
Well, he wrote the note in the pods. And she was like, I can't say yes until you ask my dad.
Yeah.
So he then read the note to the dad.
They had that whole, grill out moment. Yeah.
It was cute. That was all cute. And
this is the guy where Tim and her dad are very have lived very
they're like
similar
the same
lives.
person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I then was like, oh my God, this is really cute. This is really sweet. And then they kind of went on under the radar for a little bit. And next thing I know, they're breaking up because she took a nap.
Again, another moment I don't fully understand, because it sounds like we saw her with his family.
Mm-hmm.
And then it sounds like cameras went down and she like went to go lay down because she was tired. And
so she explained what happened. So basically, they were with the family all day and his family had to travel. So his family was going to be there for like a few days.
Yeah.
And so Tim had to run out to go do something. And Alex just said like the parents were chilling on the couch, like decompressing, and Alex had to be somewhere later. So she was like, hey, like, let me know if you need anything, but I am going to lay down and take a quick nap, like, before I have to leave to go somewhere tonight. Like, and the parents were like, okay, sounds good. No one threw a hissy fit. She naps. And then Tim's like, how could you nap while my parents were home? You were supposed to like hang out with them.
Man, that's tricky without like, I guess, seeing the whole day too, because, and like, I guess having even more context, because I would be like, we are under such a compressed timeline. I understand probably his desire for her to spend as much time as possible with his family and his people. But like, we're living a real life here too. Like, it's not like we're taking 3 weeks off of work and we don't have like whatever our previous engagements were.
We were back at work. She said they were filming all day. She just needed like a moment to herself and she had to go somewhere all night. So she was like, I just took a nap. And yeah, he like got mad at her and broke up with her over that.
The way he broke up with her too is like, she was like, you need to tell me like what you want and need from me so like I can fulfill those obligations. I can't read your mind, which I struggle with telling people like where I want them to show up, but getting mad at them anyways. But he was like, you should just know. My wife would just know. I'm sorry, sir. Nobody is programmed on how to be Tim's wife. One person is not walking around this earth with just that information inputted into their brain. I get maybe you guys have different values, but she values being able to decompress and build up her social energy. And if you don't respect that, then you also are not a good partner to her.
Also, to me, if you're leaving me with your parents and we've just had a long day together, first of all, like, why are you leaving? But second of all, you need to then tell me and be like, would you mind hanging out with my parents, doing something with them? But she said it from like, the parents were also trying to decompress. So I'm not going to decompress with strangers in my own home.
I need to know, are the parents mad? Or is this just a thing that
she said
that
at the time
mad?
The parents were like totally fine.
I don't think my parents would care. I think that they would be like, yeah, we would actually love to sit and watch TV.
I think my parents would prefer to take a nap not near my fiance they just met.
Yeah.
Just ideas. I don't know. But yeah, so then they break up. And I get the essence, right? Like, please spend time with my family. I get that. But to be so mad over it, this is not for me a reason to break up.
To me, it's kind of similar to the Steven firework thing. Like, that was an issue for you. I totally understand wanting to talk it out and work it out with your partner. But it's the way you handle it, in that this is a deal breaker.
That's it. To then be like, why didn't you know? Why didn't you know that's what I wanted?
This is what I'm working on in therapy, is like voicing what I want and need. Because
no,
we would we would all love if we didn't have to explicitly tell people how to love us. We would all love if people just loved us the way we wanted to. That's a fantasy though. It's just not going to happen, especially on a 3-week condensed timeline.
And then you end a whole marriage potentially because of it. Whatever. Better off. Is there one more couple that broke up, or are we there? Isn't there one more? Oh, Marissa and Ramses. Oh my God, I have so much to say.
I'm so sad about them.
Fuck these two. Jesus. So I thought they were both like just the bluest of blues as far as voting goes. And I was like, look at them. They're so progressive. There are little, who knows, they're just going to have like beautiful progressive babies together. It's going to be amazing. And then they have this whole military debate. And I was like, holy shit, what's going on?
This really shocked me because she was so forward about her military experience in the pods. That's why her and like, what was his name? Bodie,
yeah.
In the pods, like that's what they bonded over. And Ramses even spoke about that's what they bonded over. He knew that. Say his name again, Bodie. Damn it, I hate these names.
Yeah,
Bowden. And Marissa like spoke about like Ramses knew.
He knew, and he knew because he's I think from Ecuador or something.
No, Venezuela.
Venezuela.
The U.S. government and military got very involved, and with the military experience in Venezuela, very negative experience. So I as much as I can as a white woman from the U.S. understand from a like history topic level, like what he experienced.
Well, I think he has a right to be anti the U.S. Armed Forces.
Absolutely.
110%.
Logically, like I understand his viewpoint.
I get it. He then is now engaged to someone who is very proud of her service in the U.S. Armed Forces. That's kind of crazy. But then...
Wait, that she's proud of it or that they're engaged?
It's crazy that he, knowing where he stands on this topic, is engaged to someone who's so proud of her service.
Yes.
But she even says, she's like, I'm able to see like how it's
the negative...
she's like, I understand that, like, I wasn't expecting to go, like, kill people. And he brings up a good point where he's like, well, you did sign up, though, to do this. And me as Alicia, I am not so blind that I don't think everyone who goes into the armed forces, it's not always, like, it is a choice, but it's sometimes not. Like, I met a guy in high school who, when I was like, oh, where are you going to college? He was like, well, I can't afford college, so I have to go into the, like, army, and then they'll pay for my college.
So honestly, the benefits really are there.
Yeah, so though it's a choice, it's not. Because, like, this is his only option for it that he saw. So I get that he's like, I'm not signing up to kill people. I'm signing up to go to college. So I get where Marissa's like,
the military can provide me,
Yeah, I get that she was like, I didn't sign up for it. And I get that he's like, yes, you kind of did. I see both their sides.
Even the naivety of going in thinking you're like helping people. Like, Marissa, I believe, went in when she was 18. And the guy, like, example that you just brought up, he went in at 18. Like, your worldview of what you think the military is at 18 is vastly different than going in and being in the military, too.
Yeah, and if you had asked me at 18 my thoughts on the military, I'd probably be like, it's whatever. But now as like an adult, I can see that I benefit from it, even if I don't fully support it. I'm reaping the benefits of people who choose to go serve. So like, what does that make me? And I think Marissa was very much trying to come to this middle of like, I understand that I did something that's not great in your eyes. And I've heard a lot of people, and like, I'm not totally proud of that, but I'm proud that I did this thing that helped so many people. Because she did. Her serving meant I didn't have to lift a finger to like keep war off American soil.
I don't have to experience war. I don't have to do it myself. There's so many things where like two things can exist at the same time, even though if they are a little contradictory. I can respect and like be in awe of our troops while also understanding that a lot of them are doing really bad things that I personally don't want them to be doing. It's a weird contradiction of like, you know, it's our defense as a country, but also at some point, the best defense sometimes is offense. And so you end up doing really horrible things. It's so complex.
Like I'm anti the government making them do this, but I'm like very like proud of them for doing it. Like, thank you for serving.
Yes.
But it's like this mix of emotions. But my problem was Ramses refused to kind of see that middle. He was like, no, what you did was wrong. No, what you did was wrong. And I was like, you can think that, but appreciate what she did for other people, even if not for you. He's living in the U.S. now. There are people serving in the armed forces to keep war off his soil. Like, he can respect that.
You are benefiting from the U.S. military as well now.
Yes.
I think it's really hard because
I know.
In a perfect world, no country would need a military, but we don't live in that type of world. And so at some level, the U.S. military does have to operate for our own safety.
Yeah, and may we just say, the U.S. caused a lot of the fucking issues too, and we can respect that.
But massive goddamn problem as well.
Because of all the problems we have caused, we have enemies that now
we have to redouble down on our defense efforts.
It's a very toxic cycle, and I can appreciate that. But I think Rams couldn't see that side, and it felt like he was almost berating her.
What's hard is I don't think she had a problem with him like reflecting on the government and the military as a whole, but it's like he 100%. Couldn't see her in that either, and like her experience, and that it was a positive experience for her, and just understand it, let alone accept it.
Yeah, and it's also crazy because I would get it if she's sitting here and she's like, the military's awesome. I don't know what you're talking about. The U.S. government, number one in the world. She's not. She's fully like, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And he can't meet her in the middle. And then we're just going to make it even worse, right? Let's just keep pounding down how terrible Rams. Oh, keep going. What?
Wait, really quick. What's crazier about the whole like military argument is a lot of her friends. It's not just her who did it. Her family was involved. Her friends. You're living in DC. Like, this is a large topic that is often weaved throughout your life. She didn't move away and is living in, no offense, I'm sure there's a lot of like veterans in Minnesota, but like, I bet the like veterans thing dies down and you like start a new job. Like in DC, it's a little bit different, the like vibes around the government and the military there. So it just would be a very complex issue if he can't be understanding about your service, because it is a touch point on many parts in her life.
It's very weird. Actually, as you bring up her family, they have that really awkward lunch.
Let's talk about
her mom. First of all, her mom is the scariest person I've ever met. I never want to have lunch with her. I thought she was kind of terrible.
I thought she was horrible. I understand like wanting to be a little hard on him, and I understand being like, I want my daughter to have a prenup, and here's why.
Great.
Respect that conversation.
Prenup,
wholeheartedly. But like, at some point ease up and then like be the friendly person, because again, we're in a condensed timeline. Like, it shouldn't be a miserable experience meeting your family.
Yeah, she fucking hated him, which I get, but also like even Marissa was like, can you stop? And I did pick up that I think Marissa and her mom have a very complex relationship.
I think so too, because her mom, I think, wasn't she like a single mom? And I bet it was just really hard.
Yeah. But then Rams's luck, God, I wanted to kill him here. He goes something like, because Marissa doesn't want to be on birth control, which is understandable, because let me tell you the fucking issues about birth control. I don't need to tell you. You know, it's fucking terrible to be on it. So she says, I don't want to be on birth control, but he's very anti having a child. So he then
like
is like
5 to 7 years, I think he said. And she was like, can we make that 3 to 5, please?
Oh my God. Even a separate issue is, that he's like, no, you said in the pods you'd be okay with 5 to 7. And she's like, yeah, but now I like love you. Let's do 3 to 5. And he's like, I can't believe you're changing your mind on me. You're lying to me. And then he's like, hey, I understand you don't want to be on birth control because it like screws up your hormones and your personality and you feel really bad on it and it's terrible. But sex just sucks with a condom, so I don't want to do that. But I don't want to have kids, so you have to do this on your own.
I was like, I heard that wrong, because Ramses has been like very kind and understanding.
Liberal. Yeah.
And like, I'm sorry. It's not even like it was like a compromise. Like, hey, because like last season we had that couple who like just didn't understand like birth control and everything. And it never really felt like a discussion. It was like, hey, no, I totally understand that this like birth control can fuck with your system, but like, I'm not willing to not enjoy sex to the 100%. And like condoms would take it down 10%. So like,
you're a fucking liar. Sex is fine with a condom on. You're fucking fine.
Listen, I totally own it, and I think every person would. Absolutely, sex is way better without a condom. But like, us not having a baby is the priority. And like, what's the bigger evil?
That's
me fucking up my entire body, or you enjoying sex just a little bit less?
I think that's it. Is my mom always said, would you like, or not my mom gave me a sex talk, but basically she was like, would you rather be a little uncomfortable wearing a condom or a lot of uncomfortable for 9 months?
Yep.
She was like, however you want to take that, whether it be buying or wearing, y'all figure it out. And I was like, you know what? You're right. You're right, because sex lasts no more. Listen, max 9 minutes, 9 months, different, so we'll do that.
And it's not even like he was like, okay, no, I totally understand. Like, let's do condoms for now, like in the short term. And like, can we revisit this in like a year and we can like talk about our options after we're married? No, I'm not willing to sacrifice my enjoyment.
This was terrible. I wanted to kill him, as I've said. Fuck you, you gross piece of shit. But let's like really hammer it home when she comes out of the bathroom and he's like, I think your energy might be too much for me. Let's break up.
He was like, oh, hey, I just saw my friends and I realized like you're too much for me.
No, we have talked about this before. Never. Fuck you, sir.
And like, listen, are there some people that on reality TV can be like high energy? Absolutely. She was not one of them. You guys vibed so well. What do you mean her energy won't work with yours long term? I was really confused by this.
I think he just wanted out because she wouldn't not wear a condom.
I don't think that was fully it. I think there were a lot of little things, but that one did factor into it. I think he used this as a way to say, like, I want the things to be over. And it's just like, we won't vibe long term.
That was weird. And then, I don't know why Netflix made us watch her so long. I haven't seen a woman cry like her heart was breaking like that in a long time. Like her
I thought they were going to get
falling
married.
apart.
I thought they were going to get married. And like, I can't imagine what she thought.
When she doubled over and like fell from crying, I haven't seen that in so long. I felt so sad. But then I was like, could we please cut cameras? It feels like I'm watching something I don't need to watch.
Of course not, because then we get like her sobbing in the bathroom to her mom on the phone.
It was so painful to watch. And then he's sitting there like, oh, how could I have done this? And I'm like, no, but
it's really rough that it didn't work out.
Fuck you. All right. Let's go to Tyler and Ashley.
Yes. I liked them in the pods. Like I said, I thought that they had great conversations, but I knew the spoiler already. So I don't know if you just want to go through it as if we don't know the spoiler.
Let's just go through.
Talk about what it is.
Well, she finds out about the kids, right?
Well, they often talk about having kids when they want to have kids, which I think is a great subject to bring up in this condensed timeline that we know we're on. I think it really should be discussed by every couple. But the producers obviously pointed out to us many times that they talk about kids like 3 or 4 times before his own kids come up.
Yeah, and he has what, 3?
He has 3.
He says he's sperm donored.
He said he was a sperm donor, and the woman he has the kids with, it's like, I don't know the genders, but they had one kid first and then twins after. I think it's 2 boys or 2 girls and a boy, but I don't know which gender is each.
Yeah. So she found out about it. I think I just got confused again, and she was like mad, but then not mad.
Yeah, I don't know how. Again, this is why I need these like cell phone footage to give me the details. I don't know how Ashley found out, but she's the one who brought it to him.
See, I need people to explain stuff to me. Like, pretend I'm 5. Fully tell me the story from beginning to end.
I want to know who told you, when they told you, and like what the like high level details are. You don't have to spend 20 minutes on it, but just give me like, or if not, Netflix, give me a PowerPoint slide, put it up there, and just give me the bullet pointed details where I can pause and read it myself even.
Yeah. So then he said he doesn't even think these kids know really who he is. But they
have never seen his face. They don't know his face, is what he said to her.
Which is also a lie, because there are pictures of them.
This is what I saw on TikTok right before we recorded this. That I had seen I'm going to call her the baby mama. I know that's not how these kids like fully were conceived, but the mother of the children had come out with a video, and I watched that. And the mother of the children said she is a lesbian, and she and her wife were trying to conceive a child, and Tyler is a good friend of hers, I think was in the military with him, and he offered to be their sperm donor. And so they had the first kid, her and her wife did, and her wife ends up leaving, and Tyler was upset that the child wouldn't be raised in a 2-parent household. And so he said he wanted to be involved after the fact because the wife left. And then the baby mama says that her and Tyler slept together, and that is how the twins were conceived. So that's the story from the baby mama. But
shit.
Yes. Then I saw a TikTok, right? This is the one I saw right before we started filming. That is not the correct story. That the ex-wife has come out and talked about how when they were planning to have kids, they didn't want to go to like a sperm bank, or if they did, they didn't want to do like a whole in vitro situation. Like, I guess you can get sperm and just like, I think this is what Lala maybe did on Vanderpump Rules. Like, you literally get a turkey baster and you just put it up in there.
Shit. Okay.
Which isn't as successful. I think if you already can have kids and you're not struggling with your own infertility as a woman, it's an easier thing to do, I believe. But
okay.
That they wanted to do that. And so they kind of had a short list of who they wanted to kind of maybe help them. And the mother of the children basically said, like, absolutely not. I really want my best friend Tyler to be the guy. And that they were all living in the same apartment building. And so they bought a kit online where I guess a guy can give a sample and you can like turkey baste yourself. They did it twice. It didn't work. And so they like moved on. The ex-wife goes out of town, comes back, and then a few weeks later they find out that the mother of the children is pregnant. And the ex-wife is like, how? We only bought 2 kids. How are you pregnant? And so the ex-wife is claiming that mother of child and Tyler basically cheated on her while she was out of town, which apparently the like military is really against like cheating on your spouse. Like, you get in trouble. So they claimed it was turkey basting, so she didn't get in trouble for that child. But that is why the ex-wife separated from the mother of the children. And then while they're still married is when the twins are conceived and had. And so technically in whatever state they live in, because I don't know in the DC area where they are, whoever is the spouse is on the birth certificate. So the ex-wife is on the birth certificate for all 3 kids and Tyler's not, which is why I think
he has no claim to them or whatever.
Yeah, but like he was involved. He lived in the building with them. He was around those kids. And the wife came out saying, or not the wife, the baby mama
Ex-wife?
came out and said that Tyler was with them and the kids the day before he left for the show and then has not seen them since that day. But the ex-wife doesn't think that the baby mama is being honest because she's already gotten in trouble for the twins' conception being like cheating on her wife. So if they found out that she cheated on her wife with the first kid, she would get in trouble again with the military. That's what I heard on TikTok. So take everything with a grain of salt. Oh, and she's like, the baby mama's in love with Tyler, but like won't come out and say it because she's like questioning her sexuality, maybe.
I mean,
which
obviously, like she's like, no,
all
it
3
has
kids
to be Tyler who gives us babies.
Were conceived potentially in a consensual sexual relationship, not sperm donorship.
Oh my God, T. What a piece
I
of shit.
know.
So, spoiler, they end up going through with the wedding and they get married. There's no way they're still together, right? No
I don't know because Ashley commented on a post on Instagram basically saying like, you don't know the details. How dare you talk to about my castmate like that? Because she like can't call him anything other than that right now.
Deny. Yeah.
And I saw that, and this was before I watched the finale. I was like, they're married, which I was so disappointed about.
Yeah, this shit. Well, first of all, thank you for the details. Second of all,
yeah, I know that was a lot.
They have to be broken up. I don't know. I'm like, shook.
When was this filmed? Garrett at one point said the year 2022 in the show, but I heard it was filmed in 2023.
Either way, God, a fucking long time.
But if it's been 2 years that this couple has been married and living their life and they are like quote unquote happy, and then this comes out from the baby mama, like Tyler has a much bigger, like better grip on Ashley to be like, she's lying. That's not how it was. Like,
I think
like he could explain it away.
I would assume this was probably 2023 because isn't there another season that's already filmed?
Yeah, they did Minnesota last year too. They usually film 2 at a time.
So I feel like damn, you're right. What if she's like in love with him?
They've been together long enough before this publicly came out. Unless the
So
baby mama went and told Ashley this, I just don't think Ashley's going to believe anybody else except her husband.
So he hasn't seen the kids since
he left.
Legally, they're not his kids, I guess, though, if the ex-wife is on the...
Yeah. So, like, I don't think I've heard rumors that he has child support to pay. Or I don't know if he's legally accepted, I'll say, like, parentage or, like, fatherhood, whatever, for the twins, just based on how those, like, were conceived. But I don't know if he has child support out there for him or, like, what the dynamic is about these kids and, like, legalness or surrounding them.
This is crazy. This is, if they're still married, this is so messy.
This is the only reason I'm excited to watch the reunion, is for him to speak on this.
You lied to me for how long? And then no one knows what really happened.
The big problem is I wish the baby mama spoke out sooner, because they've already filmed this before, like, the videos I've seen. So, like, he's not going to have to answer to what's being said publicly now. He's answering for what is being said publicly probably like 3 weeks ago.
Do you, though, think Netflix has some sort of legal hold, though, on people trying to speak out? Because think about it. The Minnesota season has already spoken up. And if there's something crazy like this, we don't hear about it until it airs.
Well, absolutely. Are you saying legal hold on the cast members?
Do you think Netflix is like, we'll sue anyone who speaks out about these people?
No, you can't.
Well, then how do we not hear about this shit?
I don't think that the baby mama cared as much until she saw he was denying being their parent.
Oh.
Like, until you know what the story is being told.
Someone.
No. She said in the baby mom in her video, she said they were living together before he went on this show, and they had plans to they were dating other people and, like, trying to find other people, but, like, I think the plan was to raise their kids together. They're not his kids. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it always shocks me, though, because remember that guy Trevor from, like, last season, and then he had a girlfriend the whole time? She didn't speak, like, no one speaks out?
Because I think it won't catch fire until people are talking about these topics.
That's true. Interesting. Okay, well, I hope they do break up, but I
feel bad for Ashley, but, like, you knew about this. Him lying even about being a sperm donor is gross.
Yeah, he should have said something. Weird. Okay, well, can we get to my favorite couple finally?
Yeah, let's have a happy ending here. I was so scared with their wedding being last. I was so scared.
No way. No fucking way. First of all, these two are so cute in Mexico. So fucking nerdy. Then they go into the real world. They meet Garrett's nerdy-ass family. Which the parents were a little like, it's hard. Which they were real. They're like, it's hard to accept you as his fiance because we literally don't know you.
I respect the families being cautious and asking respectful questions and, like, not willing to, like, open their hearts to you fully until you're married in this situation.
And I think Taylor handled it well, where she's like, I get it, but I'm in love with your son and I know you guys raised him, so I know I'm going to love you too. Because Taylor doesn't love his family either.
No, you just met.
I don't know you. Yeah.
They had normal responses. They were like, I can't wait to love you.
Yeah.
Thanks for raising this man that I do love right now. Yeah. They were realistic people. Because I kind of get annoyed when the family, like, Nick's family was, like, obsessed with Hannah already. I'm
You're
like, you just fucking met
her. Yeah,
you just met her. And same with that couple in Seattle a few years ago, Micah and, like, whatever his name's mom, and they, like, still talked after. I'm like, absolutely not. These people, you just met them. This was
no.
Taylor and his family loved, respectful, asking questions, willing to grow.
My parents
but, like,
too would be like, either my parents would be either one of those parents. My parents would either be like, I don't know you, so I don't like you yet. Or they would be like, we're not going to go on this stupid show. We're going to support you off camera. I could see my parents being like, no.
I loved that Taylor's dad was like, I don't want to be on this show, but that's not a reflection of him wanting to get to know you and whatever. And then her dad eventually being on the show, like, if my parents want to come to my wedding day over this, I got bigger problems with my family. That means like you should be able to sacrifice that for my wedding day. If I'm telling you we're having a wedding for real, you got to be there and sacrifice your face.
Yeah, so I liked both the parents at this point. I thought both were very realistic of what my parents might do either way.
Yeah.
I feel like if I was over 30, my parents would be like, fine, we'll be on camera and we'll just like deal with it. But I feel like
your
if
sister
I was
would love it.
Oh my God, she'd steal the show. But when we applied for the Chicago season, we were what, like 25, 26? Yeah. I think my parents would be like, we're not fucking on camera for this bullshit. Like, it's not going to last. You know?
I did look at all the ages today and I was like, all right, most of these people are like 30 some odd. Like, I like this. I like this.
That's the worst season. Yeah, though. But like,
no, this isn't the worst season. Come on. I feel like that Houston season actually, or like the Texas season was way worse.
Oh, Dallas was bad. Yeah. I think though, also it depends on the person, right? As you bring up my sister, I think if my sister did this, my parents would be like, we're not going to be on camera because no. But I think if I did this, they'd be like, we know she's not just going to date anyone. She's going to like.
I think your parents maybe wouldn't want to do a family sit down, which is becoming a little bit more common. We didn't always see every family sit down with each couple. But your parents would show up to your wedding if you said, hey, I'm going to say yes.
Without a doubt.
They would be right there in the front row ready.
My parents would be like Taylor's parents, where they show up for the wedding. They show up for me finding a dress, like walking down the aisle. Anyway, so I really loved that. But then we come up to some issues because Taylor wants Garrett to move to San Diego.
Why wasn't this talked about why didn't we, this obviously was talked about in the pods. Why didn't we see this being talked about?
No, it sounds like though Taylor has a life, it sounds like she travels a lot for work. So her home base is DC, but she's everywhere because we saw her apartment and it has like nothing in it. Whereas he's born and raised in like the DC area. So they both have a life in DC, but Taylor really wants to be close to her family in San Diego, which I guess in the pods Garrett said he's good with, but then he kind of is like, I don't know.
I think he got hesitant when he told his family. And his family is like,
parents were crushed.
Yeah.
Parents were crushed.
That would crush my parents if I'd lived there.
Yeah. If all my life I had been like, I'm so excited to raise grandparents next door, and then I was like, see, I met someone.
We're moving out. Not even like a state away to the other coast. No.
We're on the other time, the farthest time zone. Yeah. But I feel like Taylor made a good point where she says like her work, she's always traveling. So like they can easily make this kind of work, maybe be bi-coastal family.
I think because she travels a lot already, it sounds like he works from home. They can come to DC more than the typical couple.
Yeah. Obviously with kids, it'll be more difficult, but I have faith they'll figure it out. They're so nerdy and cute. They'll do it.
Also, what do you think about, because the night they go to San Diego to visit her family, but the night before they have that Gatsby party,
oh my God,
in the whole text with his ex situation. His ex texts him.
Okay, this was hilarious. So again, we don't get a lot of background info.
Well, we get them talking in like an alley, I'm going to kind of say. And like obviously on the way to the party. And we know there's a text. He says that he just like liked it and moved on. And then when they're sitting at the party, he says that he like had a whole response about how he's engaged, whatever.
Well, okay. I didn't know. Yeah, so he's like, she's mad that he liked a text. And she goes, you should have just shut it down. And he's like, I know. And he is like distraught that she's even mad at him. So I don't know if he was like computing correctly, but she was like, you should have responded and said like, I'm with Taylor. I'm very happy. Like this cannot happen again. You should have shut it down because if you like it, it still keeps it somewhat open.
Yeah.
So I think if you just like my text, that shuts it down more than anything. I'd be like,
I agree. Over. I understand like her wanting a clear cut response of like, hey, I exist, but we're not married yet. And this is like a weird experience. So like, what is there to fully say about it? And also we're under an NDA. He was
busy. So he just liked it and moved on with his day. He's a scientist, baby. He's out here doing shit. He can't be on his phone all day. But then he like forgot. She's also mad he forgot to mention it to her right away, which he's like, I forgot.
Yeah, but then also we find out that he did respond.
That was it. So then they go through this whole party, which he literally is like, I'm so sad you're mad at me. And she's like, I don't like being mad at you. And then they go to this party and he's like, I know it was terrible. And I responded and told
He's like
her
telling
my
it to somebody else.
The boy, Tyler, I think it was Tyler. He's like, yeah, I responded to my ex being like, I'm with someone, now I'm with Taylor. And Taylor's like, you did respond?
Like, what?
Which I get too, but he responded in the way you wanted. I don't know.
What's wild though, weird. I get why she keeps getting mad because I'm like berating you for not shutting it down when you did. And that literally would have fixed, I'll say, the whole problem. If you would have just been like, no, I did shut it down. Sorry. Like, I liked it. And then I also said this. It feels like there's more to it in the text when he isn't honest with her.
That's what I think is he just like wasn't honest and I don't understand why. However, again, it was hard for me to relate to Taylor because this is just something I don't think I would be again like that. Like I would be upset, but I felt like Taylor was very upset. I think in a normal
timeline you wouldn't be, but in a condensed 3-week timeline where like you don't know if you're getting married stressed. Or not. This would I think get to me more than a normal life.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Because word's probably gotten around that like you're on a TV show and so like gross ass Steven was talking to Garrett about how like everybody's gonna want to like suck their dicks. Like
I don't know. But yeah, it was weird because then it was also like fuck, I lost my train of thought. I really had something like kind of important I wanted to say and now I don't know where I'm going with it. Because we went into sucking feet or sucking dicks. I don't know. But yes.
You were saying that you typically wouldn't have gotten mad at this.
Here's what I was going to say. Was Taylor also shares that she has been cheated on before, which I have too. So I know what this is like. And she says, I don't want to go through your phone, which I think made a good point because I think I would have in the heat of the moment been like, show me what actually happened. Yeah. But that's not healthy for me to be like, prove what happened. So I get then her
a pattern. Yeah.
I understood her struggling with like, I don't want to see your phone, but I can't trust you. So I understand that aspect and why she was upset there. Mm-hmm. But I do think like, I think it's maybe they're in public. In all these fights, I would be like, we're going to act cool and we're going to go fight behind our closed doors. Because it was so awkward to watch them at a bar and be like...
Yes, but like if you're talking with basically friends at a table and you get blindsided by a comment that like basically should have been addressed in the topic that you just talked about before walking in, I don't think I would have been able to keep that one together.
I know. I think I was blinded by my love for Garrett's nerdiness where I was like, he's not out here fucking cheating.
But they're also leaving for San Diego tomorrow. I think that trip played into it. She's like questioning if like
gonna meet her parents
because like she doesn't want to fly to San Diego if they're not serious about this. Like now you have to make this decision. Do we cancel the trip?
I think this is because we're also condensed, right? So it's on his side too, where he just doesn't know how you want me to handle these things. Like, you know, he's like, I don't know
those things about each other.
Yeah. So he's also like, I can do no right. I think this is would have been beautiful to see, but we didn't. A beautiful moment for him to say, like, look, this is what really happened. Do not interrupt. Here is exactly what happened. I'm laying it all out here. I'm choosing to tell you, to read it to you, whatever, and be like, now that we have this out of the way, please tell me what you would prefer me to do in this situation. So I then understand. And then she, after fully hearing the whole story, because he also said something like, I tried telling you, but then you kept saying stuff. And so he needs to fully explain. She then needs to fully say, this is what I would prefer going forward. And then we start anew because every relationship has this kind of thing. But because we're only 3 weeks away from getting married, we have to like really figure it out.
We're being filmed. Like I think I would act a little bit differently on camera versus when like cameras aren't there. And you know when you get a mic pack on you. So I think that made the conversation different outside that Gatsby party than if they had just been like home alone and this came up.
Yeah, I really wish we could have seen the like here's what happened. I'm telling you because I love you and I want you to know. And this is important
here's what I
now
think
to
I'm
you.
going to respond. What do you think about this?
No. Even after the fact, this is what I did. This is what happened. This is how I responded. This is what I did. Now going forward, because let's say this exact same thing happens again. What do you want me to do? What makes you comfortable? Because Garrett, it sounds like, doesn't care. He's either going to like it or respond, either one.
Yeah.
So you tell me what you're comfortable with, because I love you and I want to deal with that. But whatever, we don't see how they reconcile. We just find out they cried all night and now they're in San Diego.
Yes.
But they end up doing great. He meets the family and friends. We see home footage. And then there were no other problems, right? I'm not imagining this.
Yeah,
they go straight.
No.
The next problem was Taylor's wedding dress was so fugly.
Alicia, what? I don't remember. Okay, when she walked down the aisle, I don't remember it looking like that at the wedding dress shopping. The little short dress in the little like cape just around the waist thing. I don't know what that's called.
The cape around the waist. And then the headband.
Okay, I
attached. No,
I liked the headband prior to the veil. I think she looked really chic in a headband and her hair curled. It gave me Blair Waldorf vibes. But the minute they put that veil in, I was like, oof, how do you make that look good? And then I saw her again and they had moved it up. So it was like an inch back from the headband. And I was like, what is going on here?
Do you know that scene in The Parent Trap where they're doing the photo shoot and they put the hat on the lady and then the veil? That is what this...
No, this was worse than that because that was a photo shoot and that was iconic.
That's what I thought of because I remember thinking this bride would never wear a top hat.
No.
With a veil. And when I saw this, I go, a bride should never wear a headband with a veil attached. Not even attached, just behind it.
It was horrible. I think her headband was really cute before she put the veil on. If she did it maybe in between the veil situation as like an accessory for the reception.
I don't know who Taylor pissed off, but it was the wrong fucking person.
I loved the top of her dress. I thought it looked so cute on her. But when she walked down that aisle, I said, why the fuck are you wearing a knee-length matronly little like dress with a cape around your waist? When did your dress change to that?
Here's the thing. I don't remember good dresses. I just remember the really bad ones. And this one was terrible. I also, on that note, well, they end up getting married and it's very cute. But I want to bring up, do you remember season 1 when these weddings were just a bunch of fold-out chairs in a small room in a banquet hall?
No, wait, is that how season 1 was?
Oh my God, do you not remember looking? Do you remember that girl Gianna and then that redhead fuck? What's his nuts from season 1?
He wasn't fully redhead, but he was a strawberry blonde, but yes.
Yeah. When he said no and she ran out and we got a full view of this building she's running out of, which is basically just a banquet hall.
No, I don't remember.
Of those in my town.
Well, that's where I went things makes me think of Married at First Sight. I'm always like, this is your wedding.
Yeah, that's what it was giving. So the budget was immensely better because now they also have like a really cute room they all get ready in.
I don't know if it was better. Blah, blah, blah. I just bet DC doesn't. I bet banquet halls are used for like meetings, not weddings.
I think they have a budget now.
Yeah.
Netflix has a budget for this show.
I think they also learned that these people get married on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday situation and they get a lot cheaper venues because these are weird ass weddings.
Thank God, because they used to get married in the... I remember being like, I would never at this place. I'd be like, no, my parents will front some money for it to be at least a little better.
I think you are allowed to like add in stuff. But yeah, I think the venue that's just handed to you and you're told today.
Yeah, because I think one gets... Either they do different days or one gets married in the morning and the other gets married in the afternoon.
I realize that they do different days because if they do get married, they have a reception.
Same. They've started doing like the same venue. Season 1, they did different venues. It was just kind of like wherever we could fit you in.
I'm going to have to look at that.
There was like 2 or 3 rotating ones. But I think now they're like, we only had 2 weddings.
Well, they also all had to get married. So I think now they're like, hey, we'll let you know. That's true. Your date, here's the 3 dates we're gonna have, and
like I think the Chicago ones were different because one girl like got married in a barn. I remember being like, that's a really fun.
I think that was the same place, but it had like an outdoor grass and then a barn area.
Oh, we had multiple weddings going at once to save some cash.
We just had a lot of options at that venue to like switch things up. Midwest, we know how to do a lot with a little.
We're good. We're Midwest strong, baby. But yeah, so I think of when we do reunion, Taylor and Garrett are the only couple still together that I will care to root for.
I'm concerned if Ashley's still with him.
At least we got one okay cut. There's always one couple I root for in it.
I'm happy to have one. Here we go.
I always have a favorite, and I'm so happy. But I do think Netflix, you need to require them to go to the altar. Just fucking force them.
To wedding day. I'm fine if they break up outside of the wedding, but I want their whole families to come in.
Yeah, I want families there. I want the men to look a father in an eye and be like, I'm not getting married to your daughter today.
There was a season where like her family or his family, like they all showed up pretty casual and everybody was like, you're not getting married. Look at how this family showed up.
Yeah.
I want that. I want to tell them the little bitty details because every time I watch those wedding things, I'm like, what are they saying? How are they saying it? Like, how is the family acting? Like, I am trying to investigate if they're getting married or not. Now it seems like if they go to the wedding, they're getting married, and I don't like that.
That was the disappointment. Was I didn't think they weren't gonna say yet. Like, I honestly, if we want to get really serious, Ashley and Tyler, I went all the way to the "you may kiss the bride" part because I was like, I knew they were gonna get married.
The minute I saw him playing pool, talking about babies, I was like, they're getting married.
And then even the only reason I sat through Taylor and Garrett's was because I wanted to hear their cute little vows.
But I got really concerned that I was being gaslit for a minute, but the way their families talked about each other and the way each person talked about their partner, I was like, they're getting married. But if they don't, I will have a mental breakdown. I'm on the verge of one in my own personal life, and this will tip me over the edge.
Yeah, I need suspense. Like, I think Ramses could have fooled me to the end.
I
would have been heartbroken. That would have been great.
I'm so sorry, Marissa, but I need it. Yeah, are we toxic?
If Hannah said no to Nick, I would have been like, we saw it coming. But I wanted one where I was like, no way. But that's where I need
Nick to say, like, I do, and then Hannah to be like, I don't.
I don't.
Yeah, so, like, Nick is heartbroken.
They have to make it down. Like, you've only known this person for 2 months, max. Break their heart. Break their heart at the altar. It's okay.
If they cheat and they do shitty things like Steven did to Monica, you do not need to go to the altar. We do not need to deal with narcissistic, terrible men at the altar. But, like, give me a little drama.
Make it down to the altar.
Tell me that at the altar.
Family. Be like, my family kissed you nap.
Point at your family and say you napped on them.
Yeah, because then I want mom being like, I wasn't mad. Like, I want
looking at other mom like, you're breaking up over me?
I wasn't mad. I swear.
And then mom goes and hugs her and is like, oh, so sorry, Alex. This wasn't a big deal to me. I'm so sorry Tim didn't like you for this. That's what I mean. Yeah,
I force him down the aisle, Netflix. You're getting soft on me. I'm fucking over it.
It's this whole reality reckoning, I think. Like, they hired Chelsea from Seattle season, I think, to be like a consultant for the contestants. Yeah.
No, if you're signing up for this, you're going to be treated like trash. We know this.
Yes.
You
want this for the possibility of being famous. Nothing is free.
I think if you are having someone film your real life, fine, you should be treated with some goddamn respect. But you're going to Netflix's life, baby. You're entering
it's that
our zone.
You know how this show operates.
Yeah, it's not a new show by any means. I'm going to show up. I'm going to be taken advantage of, probably overfed and underslept. I'm going to sit in a pod for 12 hours a day.
Overserved alcohol.
I'm going to have to talk to idiots all day. And then I have to go stay in an apartment with someone I didn't know in Netflix's apartment and have to have awkward conversations with a family I'm probably not even going to stick around for. So
while drinking out of a gold goblet.
Yeah, I'm not even. Also, here's the other problem with breaking up. They don't have the parties with the whole cast. I liked when it was like, this is my bestie Meredith, and you didn't see her, but we got along in the pods. Throw a party.
Throw a
goddamn party.
And, like, the bachelorette parties were so lame because, like, there's nobody. I mean, like, the people who actually got married, like, gotta bring more of their friends, but, like, I want 4 bachelors, like, all talking about if they're getting married, but they obviously can't say if they are or are not getting married on camera.
Yeah. Remember that one season where they had, like, a full, like, beer pong type party? Because they all had to drink out of the weird cups. It was, like, awkward. But everyone was invited. Everyone.
Yeah.
So then you also got forced with, like, oh no, Hannah has to come face to face with Leo in front of Brittany, in front of Nick. That's really fun. Bodie showed up, but like,
no, not even that, but like you're right, they had one party where all the cast got together. They used to live in an apartment complex together and actively hang out.
Which I think they still did, because how the fuck did Garrett and Taylor get to Monica
they
so
all lived
quick?
in the same building, you could tell by the furniture, but like they didn't hang out with each other, or like there was no common space. I remember in season 1, there was that common space they would all hang out in.
Yeah.
And Barnett and Amber like constantly had to be around that other girl, and it was like constantly
Jessica.
Awkward.
Yeah. And the girls would just hang out more, and then the guys would hang out more.
They would do like happy hours.
Yeah, we had too many breakups, and I didn't like that. Force them down the aisle. Unless someone's cheating. Yeah.
Force them down the aisle, give me more cell phone diaries, and I want to see the guys and the girls separately getting together talking about their relationship issues. Like, and
here's the thing.
I'm so sorry, Monica, you can't just cry to Garrett and Taylor. I need you to cry to all the girls and tell them what Steven did to you.
That's the other thing. Sorry that you guys broke up, but Monica, Steven, I apologize. Your contract, unless Netflix lets you out of it, requires you to go to this stupid Gatsby party. Sorry about it. I think that's probably what they took away, because I think before they were probably required to show up, because like why would fucking Jessica show up all the time with Amber and Barnett after she broke up with that guy? But no. Sorry, your Netflix contract, we still own you. Show up to this party.
Yeah, it's disappointing.
So Netflix, we're available for next season. Let us tell you.
Bravo hasn't picked us up, so like we are still available.
Yeah, Bravo. Honestly, we'll just contract in with a bunch of different networks. We're okay with that.
I'm ready to be a consultant for reality TV.
Stop consulting a previous person on the show, a previous contestant. Consult with people who you didn't pick,
the
for
viewers,
season 2, and let us tell you what you want. We'll make ratings skyrocket. Have us
I love it.
I could tell you all these men are shit. Let me pick the men. I got it.
Alicia, this makes me really excited for the reunion. I don't have high hopes, and I swear to God, if Vanessa Lachey says something about babies more than 2 times, I will give her one real slip up, and I'm just expecting a second. But if she says anything else more than that,
no. Here's the thing. This reunion's going to be full of bullshit and full of drama. And if the Lachey's fuck it up, like I know they're going to, I'm going to petition for their heads. I'm over
This is the easiest reunion for them to do. I feel like it's very clear cut the questions that need to be asked and what needs to be done.
And don't try and stop the fighting, because they're always like, can we just hug and make up? No. Absolutely. Correct. Do it like Bravo. Hire Andy Cohen. He'll do a good reunion. You know that. Or hire Paige DeSorbo.
Ask Andy to consult on them. Go do a masterclass with Andy Cohen on reunions, which he could always be better, but at least get to his level. Is all. Well,
he's friends with all the people he does reunions with now, which I think is the problem. You know what? No, have like Gianna or someone who's still very Love is Blind famous, but like has kind of removed herself from it. Have her host the reunion. She would be great.
I would be in.
Yeah.
She would read them to filth.
Yeah. She'd be like, she'd be an Ariana. She'd be like, I have all the time in the world. Please explain yourself.
That's the thing. We need a woman scorned. We cannot have a couple who is doing this.
We need a woman scorned. Have us do it. We would host a great reunion, and I believe.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Well, this was a great episode. I have nothing else to say. No.
Me neither. No. This was I'm so happy to be back. And also, we will be back for the next few weeks. And I can't wait to talk about just normal reading, watching, and listening. But thrilled.
Before we go, Yeah, before we go, do all the things. I know I kind of skipped over it, but we have a Patreon, an Instagram, and a TikTok. All the links are in our bio if you're interested. And yeah, be sure to join us weekly.
Thanks for joining. Bye.